So our next email is from Mohammed A, who's from the internet. With Twitch's new option to buy the game the streamer is playing, do you think that Nintendo will eventually change their monetization shenanigans on YouTube if they see a lot of people buying their games because of streamers?
So here's the problem. Nintendo are a company run by old Japanese men. Old Japanese men don't know anything about YouTube. They don't care about YouTube. They don't care about anyone doing things. They just want their copyright enforced. They want money. So ultimately, the decision for all this YouTube stuff comes from them. And I'm sure it drives Nintendo of America fucking insane because they have such bad optics when it comes to that platform. People hate Nintendo on YouTube. Like, no one can cover their stuff properly because the big people who make a living doing this stuff and who have large audiences are not able to monetize their content unless they're signed up with Nintendo and this whole thing. And it sucks because ultimately that stuff is very shady. And I, as someone who does some Nintendo content on YouTube, I would not want to sign up for this program, not only because, they're taking a cut of it, but also because you're essentially becoming a PR mouthpiece for Nintendo by signing up for that program. Like, you're only allowed to cover Nintendo games, and they probably have something in a contract saying, oh, you've got to be a bit positive about this shit, That is not what I want, and it's not what I think I want from a lot of kind of YouTube people I go to. But with this new Twitch thing in mind, I'm not sure if you've heard of this, Bally. Do you know what's going on with Twitch? So, essentially, because Twitch are bought by Amazon clearly want to link things in with all their businesses. Amazon, it's interesting. People have been talking about Amazon recently because Amazon obviously makes a shit ton of money, but every time they make money, they reinvest it into something else, and they go off these new ideas. The Kindle was born out of that, and obviously they've got their whole, Prime platform and their video platform and all this stuff, and Twitch is another one of those things where they're going after these areas where they think they can monetize. Essentially, Amazon want to rule the world, and they probably will do, because frankly, no one buys anything from anywhere that isn't called Amazon. And so what they've done now with Twitch is they have linked streaming to purchasing of games. So if a streamer you are watching is playing, let's say Overwatch, right? It's a very popular streaming game. If a streamer is playing Overwatch, if you as a viewer from that page go to Amazon and buy a PS4 copy of Overwatch, that streamer gets monetary benefit from that, essentially. So they are getting a cut of the price for buying that game to them. So, you've got the publisher making their money, you've got Amazon taking their cut, and then Amazon are kind of substituting some of their cut towards the streamer. And so, essentially what this means is that the streamer is making more money because they are engaging their viewership to go and buy these games. And there's a lot of stuff tied up with this, obviously. And I, personally, as someone who is very much who likes traditional video game media and who thinks there are huge problems with streaming these days, especially because the age of these people doing this stuff and the kind of their audiences being susceptible, perhaps, to the stuff that they're kind of being PR mouthpieces for. There are some issues for sure, and this whole idea that you could take this game that is not particularly great, but you paint it in a light that it's amazing, and you get all your, your streamers, your people watching to buy it. You're doing it for the monetary benefit of selling these copies of this game, as opposed to anything else. So I think there are ways to abuse it, essentially, in a really, unproductive way. And
is it something that you think Nintendo would be like, oh, that sounds nice, we could make some more money? Let's try and target some Nintendo Twitch streamers?
I think that Nintendo of America would love this. I think they would absolutely be all in on it. But I think, again, we go back to that problem where Nintendo of America are essentially fucking useless because they can't make any major decisions. They are at the whim of, the Japanese overlords who clearly don't understand these markets and don't have a clue.
And something like YouTube and Twitch is huge in North America and not that big in Japan, right?
Exactly. I mean, Japan have services like Nico Nico, which is their kind of YouTube equivalent, maybe. I'm not sure if they have like streaming platforms. Maybe Nico Nico is both. Maybe it's like on-demand video and streaming. But they have their kind of their own stuff. But here's the thing, like, this would probably make Nintendo a decent amount of money. because there are lots of people who watch streams for Nintendo games. I think way more people watch streams for Nintendo games or are interested in Nintendo games than ever owned Wii U's or Nintendo products, right? And especially these most recent times. And so it's interesting because you can definitely see them capitalizing and going to Amazon and being like, okay, yeah, we think that this could be a thing that helps sell more copies. But then they might look at it as, from their perspective, oh, so you're giving money to this streamer who's just playing our video game that we made, because clearly we're the ones who made it, and they don't care about transformative work or any of that stuff. So I feel like they have an opportunity, but they're probably too fucking stupid and, out of touch to engage with it. And I actually, to be honest, the thing is, Nintendo have made their cut already, right? So ultimately, this is from Amazon's perspective, because they are, I would assume Amazon are giving up some of their cut to the streamer. So they are essentially, Nintendo's still getting the same amount of money, and Amazon are the place that are selling the product, right? So if the person watching Smash Brothers goes and buys Smash Brothers off Amazon, Nintendo have already sold their inventory to Amazon, right? That's already a done deal. So ultimately, I don't think Nintendo actually... The one area that Nintendo benefit is from all these viewers buying it as a result of watching the stream. I think that happens anyway, right? But this is just a way for the streamer themselves to make money off the back of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's messy.
I mean,
it's weird.
That in and of itself is messy, and we've sort of skirted around a lot of the issues with the streaming and then buying the game, and like, what if the streamer is playing a game that is entertaining, and then playing the game is entertaining because of how bad the game is. Like, people aren't going to want to buy that game, and likewise, a streamer might criticize a game, or is it generally just accepted that people who stream games love the games they're playing, therefore they would want the people watching to buy the game they're playing?
It depends. I think it depends what kind of streamer you are, what you play. We live in a world, Bally, where there are a lot of mono gamers, as I think Total Biscuit coined the term, which means that you have YouTube channels dedicated
you used to be a mono gamer, MBZ.
I know, yeah, I know. Of course I did. But it's a term that is very interesting. We're in a world where Overwatch is something that someone dedicates all their time to, and they don't play anything else. We're in a world where Dota and League of Legends rule the roost, and Call of Duty and all these games kind of they are embedded communities within themselves, and it's interesting because those kind of channels I don't think are going to benefit that much, right? Like, if you're a Twitch streamer who streams Overwatch all the time, I think the assumption is that everyone who's a viewer already owns Overwatch, and they're watching it because they're interested in that game and that person playing it.
Yeah.
Like, if I was, me doing my Pokemon stuff, I would assume most people who watch my videos own that Pokemon game already,
Yeah.
There are very few people who don't. So from that perspective, I think the people who are variety streamers, as they're called, are definitely more in the benefit here because, well, first of all, those people are being probably paid to do sponsored deals anyway from publishers,
right.
So they're already essentially selling games. But on that off occasion where they're playing some weird little indie thing, and it's really cool in that sense that they can help this indie game get sold and also maybe get a little bit of benefit off the side. Although, thinking about it, I'm not sure how that would work because a lot of these indie games are digital only. So then you have to wonder, are Amazon building towards expanding their own platform? Because I'm not sure if you know this, but Twitch now has a launcher, which is essentially like Steam, where you can open it and it has a list of games on it. I have the Banner Saga 1 and 2, because through Twitch Prime, sometimes you get free games. So I have Banner Saga 1 and 2 on my Twitch account, which is a launcher on my desktop. We're in a world where there's fucking, Uplay and Origin and Steam and all these PC clients. Twitch now has their own. So I have to wonder if there's something to that tied into this as well. But, yeah, I can talk about this shit all day because it fascinates me. I am a nerd about YouTube and Twitch stuff. So I'm not sure if I really answered that question, but if we're going to sum it up, I don't think Nintendo are smart enough to get in on this.
They're always a bit slow to the party on all that stuff anyway, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
of course they are.
I guess we'll see. But if you have more questions on that issue, we can definitely take them.
If you enjoyed this discussion and would like to hear more, consider subscribing to us on YouTube and following the podcast playlist. You can also find us on iTunes and various other places. Follow us on Twitter at TNL Podcast and email us thisnintendolife@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.